For today, we'll be discussing answers to a few questions that you might have in relation to arriving at Brisbane International Airport. Just a disclaimer, so as with the start of this video, this is totally based on what I experienced upon arriving in Brisbane in the first week of May 2021. For the first question, what should you expect upon arriving in Brisbane Airport? There's a lot of things to expect upon arriving in the airport, but after we deplaned the aircraft, we were greeted and welcomed and given 2 sheets of paper. So the green one contains relevant COVID information and what to do when you are sick, when you're feeling sick right now, or when you get sick in quarantine. So the other paper shows details on quarantine accommodation. So like explaining why you need to undergo quarantine, the quarantine fees and payment. So as of writing, it costs $2,800 for 1 adult. $3,710 for 2 adults, so it means you pay for 1 room and then just pay for 2 sets of meals, and $4,620 for 2 adults and 2 children. So it says here that at the end of your quarantine you will get an invoice to pay within 30 days. So there are further information on Queensland's website, which I'll link in the description box below. Question number 2. Are face masks or face shields required? You're required to wear your face mask at all times inside the airport. So face shields, no, there's no requirement to wear face shields. So same with Singapore, they didn't require face shields, and they actually ask you to take it off because it disrupts temperature screening. So yeah, face masks are required inside Brisbane Airport, and then temperature screening is also being done. So when they hand you these papers, you'll be asked to fall in line, and while waiting you can read all the information in here. Then they'll get your temperature one by one. They'll ask you to wait because they're not mixing flights inside the airport. So for our flight, I think we waited for about 10 to 15 minutes. So just waiting, just reading this information, and then the cabin crew were surprised that we're still there, because as you know, when you are coming from a flight, the flight attendant, the crew lets all passengers go out first, and then they come in much later. But then after they went off the plane, they saw us in there lining. So the officers explained that they can't mix flight. But then when it's time for us to get inside the airport, they've given the crew priority, so they were the first to be screened at immigration. Third question, are they strict in immigration checks? I would say it feels the same as usual. So they're always strict at immigration. So I think regardless of what country, so at the airport, it's always the immigration that is the scary part. But you shouldn't be scared if you're not hiding anything and you're sure and confident that they should allow you in. So yeah, it's my 5th time going to Australia, and I can see that they're just doing their job. So they're doing the mandatory checks. You just have to give your passport and the arrival sheet. Just bring all your documents with you and don't be scared. Question number 4. How is the baggage claim process? With claiming the baggage, it's still the same. So they assign you with a baggage carousel number. You get your bags in there, their trolleys, and then you line up for customs. And note, just ensure distancing is in place at all times. Question number 5. Can you tell us about the customs declaration process? During the flight, the crew will be giving arrival cards that comes in yellow sheets. So you can fill it up during the flight. So once you've deplaned, it will be easy. So in that, you'll be asked to give your personal information, contact details, address in Australia, and things like that. On the back, you'd be asked to declare any goods that you'll be bringing in. The Australian website has a pretty good list of items that you can or you cannot bring to Australia, or you can bring but you have to declare it. So for those items, so what I did was to just tick a few things. So like say medicine, so I brought medicines for 3 months supply. It's just vitamins, but I've just ticked yes. So just to declare that I'm bringing lots of stuff. And also I've got foods. So I've got 3 luggages, and 1 luggage is full of food. So about 10 kilos of it for cooking aids and other snacks. So what I did was to check a few items instead of ticking no for all boxes. So what happens next is that you'll be greeted by police first. So they will check the top box, which asks about possible items that are prohibited. So say, for example, for the medicine, so I ticked yes on that. And then they just ask what medicines do I have. So I just said it's vitamins for a couple of months, and they said that should be fine, and thank you for declaring. And then the other section would be for food items or any other things, because you're probably aware that Australia values the biosecurity, so they give high importance to it. And they said on their ads that if you're in doubt, just declare it. So that's what I did. So I just declared everything. So what they did was to screen my bags. So all my bags, not just the luggage with the food. So all my bags went through the scanner, and then they opened the bags and then checked what I've got in there. And yeah, I was given clearance, so no costs or nothing to be put on hold. And for those who didn't have anything to declare, they were asked to line up. And then there's a sniffing dog, so there's canine going through their bags and then just checking if there's anything that the dog will pick up. So it's pretty much the same as with previous visits, I'd say. So nothing changed on that part, because I don't think COVID will affect that screening. Same with how they do it in immigration. By the way, just to add, so in customs declaration, I don't know what numbers to tick yes for the food, but as the officer went through my bag, she saw that I've got a pack of peanuts, almonds, honey butter almonds. It's a Korean brand, which I like to munch on. So she said that I should have ticked nuts on the form, because even if it's processed, it's still nuts. So same thing, I've got dried mangoes on commercial packs. And she said I should have ticked fruits, because even if it's dried or packed or packaged, it's still fruit, so you should tick it next time. So she's pretty nice, and then all noted, ma'am. Thank you.
Make your arrival into Australia as easy as possible. Just declare it.
Next question. After customs declaration, are you free to go? Pre-COVID, yes, you're free to go after being cleared for customs, but now you'll be greeted by police officers. So they'll be asking if you have completed the arrival registration form. So it's this one, which will have a QR code. So you can fill it out online. So if you know that within 14 days before your arrival in Queensland, you know that you'll be coming from overseas, or you went to locations that are declared hotspots. So if you know what you'll be doing in the 14 days, you can fill out the online form right then and there. So as for myself, I filled it out on 23rd of April. And then it is valid until 22nd of June, April, May, June. So it's valid for 2 months. So you can fill it out online as early as you can within those 2-month period. So they'll ask if you have completed the form. If you haven't, Wi-Fi is available at the airport, so they'll give you QR codes to scan. It will direct you to the site and you can fill it out. It will ask for your name, if you've been overseas, and then what else? Your address in Australia, other personal information, and that it will tell you that you have to undergo quarantine or not. Question number 7. What is the QR code for? So after the police has asked if you have registered online or not, they'd ask you to fall in line and wait in batch for them to assist you going through the quarantine processing booth. So in the quarantine processing booth, they've got police officers again. So they're the ones who will be scanning the codes. so you don't have to print the forms like I did. So I just want everything printed. So you can show the code via mobile, and then they'll scan it through their iPads and then let you know where you'll be staying. So in there, they'll be giving you quarantine direction information. So another sheet of paper which shows your name, birth date, address in Australia, email address, phone number, and the hotel you'll be staying in. So it mentions that it is an offense to fail to comply with this direction without a reasonable excuse. If you fail to comply, you may be liable to maximum penalty of 100 penalty units. One penalty unit is equal to 133 Australian dollars for each offense. An emergency officer may use necessary and reasonable force to enforce this direction. So there's lots of other information in here, and it also mentions your date of arrival and the reason why you need to quarantine. So like say for myself, reason for quarantine is overseas. At the back, it mentions the notice to pay, COVID-19 quarantine. So it shows the rate, which I've mentioned earlier, so 2,800 for one person in one room and things like that. So they'll be giving you a paper copy and it'll be sent to your email as well. Question number 8. Do you get to choose the hotel to stay into? The answer for that is no. So it is totally random. So they give you a hotel upon arriving at the airport. And then I actually asked the officer, do they assign the hotel based on your place of residence? Because they asked that in the Queensland international arrival registration. So do they consider your place of residence? And the answer is no. So it is allocated. So they said they don't know how the algorithm works, but it's normally just given by batch per flight. So say this flight goes to this hotel, this flight to this hotel, which makes sense because they have to bring you from the airport to the hotel. So it makes sense to just give you all a certain quarantine facility. Question number 9. How do you get to the assigned quarantine accommodation? As I've mentioned on the previous question, the government has arranged transport from the airport to the assigned hotel facility. So for our batch, after giving us quarantine direction papers, we're handed out hotel information sheets. So again, we'd have to fill it out with our name, address, telephone number, email address, and you'd put in the hotel that was allocated to you on the direction form. And with the room number, it gets allocated upon arriving at the hotel. So you can leave it as blank. It also tells you the last day of your stay. So you have to fill out the form completely and then you just hand it over at the hotel for check-in. I've actually shot a video inside the bus. So I've shot a video inside the bus, but I'm just completing the whole thing in one sit down because it's difficult to speak with a face mask on. But yeah. So in the bus, you just have to wait at the airport and then they'll tell you if it's your bus and then you'll be riding the bus. You can sit anywhere. So just ensure distancing is in place. For question number 10, do you get assistance with your luggage? So this is a personal question because I've got 3 luggages. So there's one big one and 2 small ones and 2 little bags, so a backpack and a laptop bag. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to carry everything with me, and I know I can, but it will just take time. But I'm just really glad that the police officers were very good in handling the bags. So like in the airport, so we've got the trolleys with the bags in, so we just have to bring it to the bus. And they'll be the ones to load it on the bus compartment. Well, that will make it efficient for everyone. And yeah, it's a good experience, so pretty quick. And also upon arriving at the hotel, they'll be putting all the bags by the street, so by the hotel. And then you can just grab it and roll it from there to check in. So again, thank you. Thank you to the officers. But yeah, just don't bring anything that you can't carry and try to travel light. That's a note to myself. I know I can't do it, but... And just a bonus question. Are shops open at the airport? You might already know the answer. So the answer is no, because you'd be exposing people from the shops with new arrivals. So no, you'd have to complete your shopping at the hotel. So you can download apps, so like Uber Eats. And then, yeah, you can just order online and have it delivered to the hotel, or ask friends to drop stuff for you. And that's it. So that's 10 questions answered, and hope it gives you an overview of what to expect upon arriving at Brisbane Airport. If you got some information from this video, hope you give it a thumbs up, and then hope you can subscribe, as I'll also be uploading videos on my Brisbane quarantine. And thank you all for watching. Bye.